Hello, hello, hello. This is Minister J. I am the founder and lead servant of B2B Ministries, which stands for Born to Battle Ministries. Just a reminder that when God created each one of us, He placed everything that we would need on the inside of us in order to win, to defeat, to overcome, and be victorious in every battle that we face. That's when God created us. He created each one of us already born to battle. I thank you for joining me for this brief conversation with MJ today. I just decided to knock it out while I'm sitting here. I just came out of QT, got me something to drink. It's like 106 degrees out here in Dallas, but I just wanted to stop really brief and do this conversation with MJ to be an encouragement to someone else. First and foremost, let me say we are starting the grief support group. First session will kick off on September 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm saying 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But this brief conversation with MJ, just wanted to encourage somebody and let you know you're not in it by yourself. You're not the only one that's grieving every day. You're not the only one that's having to push through life with grief on your shoulders, on your mind, and on your heart. I drive around, to different destinations throughout the day or throughout the week, and every time I see a car that reminds me of the car that my son used to drive, I go right back into a place of utter devastation. So there will be things that you will see time to time, people you will come across, smells that you may experience, sounds that take you back into maybe just a memory of that person. And so often those memories, even if it was something good, remind you of the times that you will not have with that person again. Sometimes they're memories that make us laugh, memories of things that remind us of a joke or a situation that was joyful or that was comical even. But then our mind reminds us that we won't get those again. And that's okay. Because if we didn't have those feelings, in my opinion, it would show that maybe we didn't love that person the way that we thought we did. Or maybe we didn't have the connection that we thought we did. Just this past week, I was having a really hard time with memories of my best friend. She passed away in December of 2020. So the loss to my heart has been great over the past few years, at least the past 3 to 4 years more than anything else. And things remind me of the people that I've lost. And whether it's a joyous occasion or whether it's an occasion that brings me pain, those memories that cause the grief in the morning, believe it or not, I'm grateful for them because it does remind me that I did truly love those people. They weren't just a part of my fans or my followers or my friends on social media. No, these were people who meant so much to me that it hurts me that they're no longer here. And maybe the pain isn't the same every time. Maybe the grief hits differently in different situations around different people. But it's still something that I carry on my shoulders, on my back, in my heart, every day. So if you do as well, know that it's okay. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you're grieving too long. Don't ever let anybody feel like you're grieving wrong. Don't ever feel guilty when the tears come unexpectedly. Don't ever feel guilty when you reach a point that you just don't feel like attending an event or being bothered with a group of people because you find yourself still in a place of grief. The Bible tells us to be anxious for nothing, but in all things to give thanks. To go to God in prayer, with all things. Be anxious for nothing. But when God made us, He gave us human feelings. And He knew that we would have anxiety. Otherwise, He never would have allowed the scripture to be written, to be anxious for nothing. The key is to not allow the anxiety, the depression, the stress that comes along with grieving to kill you. Because as long as you keep putting a foot forward, you're going to have anxious moments. As long as you continue to breathe in and out, grief will at some point give you some form of depression. But just don't stay there too long. Because if you stay there too long, you are allowing yourself to succumb also to the same thing that you are mourning your loved one from. That's not fair to you. And I believe that whoever you loved so much that you no longer have here, loved you just as much. And though they cannot be here with you in the flesh, we must believe that God still has a plan for us, or we would no longer be here. And we must believe that although our loved one is no longer here with us, if the situation were switched, they too would want us to keep living. They too want us to keep pushing through. They want us to be able to achieve what maybe they were not able to do because their life was cut short. So I encourage you, keep pushing, keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep getting up every morning. Even on the hard days, find at least one good thing in that day that you can say gave you joy, gave you peace, and put a smile on your face. It may be hard, way more difficult, some days more than others. But if you can find just one thing, whether it's a flower you see growing outside, it could be just the wind blowing, your favorite food, treating yourself to an unfamiliar type of food, treating yourself to a snack that you don't eat that often, drinking something that you just get from time to time. Whatever it may be, on those really, really hard days, push through to find at least one thing that will make you happy, make you smile, and experience joy, even if it's momentarily. So this has been my conversation with MJ, and trust me, the advice that I'm giving is from experience. It's not just something I pulled out of the air, because grief is hard. Everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves relationships differently, because it's contingent on the type of relationship that you have with the person that's no longer here. But then I also want to give just one last piece of encouragement. Grief doesn't always come just because there's a casket laying at the front of the church or the front of the chapel. We grieve loss of friendships, relationships. We grieve loss of jobs, loss of income. We grieve loss of health. You know, there's a lot of things that you can be grieving. But even in the grief of those types of things, I still encourage you the same way to find something in the day to put a smile on your own face and a moment of joy and peace. So again, this is MJ. I thank you for joining me for this brief conversation. I hope it's encouraging to someone to first and foremost know you're not in it by yourself. There are thousands and millions of us that are going through the same thing every day. But find a reason to put a smile on your face. Until next time, thank you for joining. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing remainder of this day and this week. Be blessed.